Okay, the first time I recorded this video, I used notes and it took about 20 minutes, so I'm going to try to speak extemporaneously and cut it down significantly. So really what I want to add to this discussion is just kind of put it in perspective of what everything we talk about today, about the entire work experience for individuals with disabilities, and the idea of improving diversity in the workforce in general. And so job descriptions are really one part of the entire career lifespan, but they are a very important part because they are the first exposure an individual will have to your organization and to you. It's the first communicative exchange, you can call it. The first time you quote unquote meet. But you have to take these principles, I think, and really expand them throughout the career lifespan in order for them to be effective. And so what we talk about being conscious and conscientious of the language you use and how you communicate is important once they actually arrive for an interview and you're describing the job duties frequently in much greater detail, elaborating on what is said in the job description. Once they actually start the job, it's important to make sure that the actual job duties meet the job duties in the job description. Very frequently, job descriptions state a bunch of stuff that probably isn't actually going to be done in the job, but it'd be nice if people knew how to do this stuff, so we're going to put it in there. That's problematic, though, because when you're talking about someone's ability to do the job and actually function in the job, when you put all these extra duties, they may not be able to do them, and that might be the one barrier that prevents them from feeling comfortable applying for the job or feeling like they have a good opportunity to receive the job. So if they're not something that you know they're going to do, then they're not necessarily something that you should include in the job description, I would say. It's also important to communicate when things are going to change. Change is inevitable, especially in the field of LIS. This is a profession and discipline characterized, and it's very core by change. So change will happen, and change is okay if it is communicated early, explicitly, effectively, multiple times, and you really make it clear, this is what's going to change. This is how we're going to change it. This is what's going to be different. This is what we expect of you. This is what we're going to put in place to make sure the change happens smoothly and efficiently. If you do that, then change can be managed with anyone. It's important to remember that we are always communicating, because we are, whether it's verbal, nonverbal, intentional or unintentional, we are always communicating. So it's very important, not just with language use, but how we communicate with our nonverbals, with our eye contact, with our gestures, that we are being very welcoming to individuals of all kinds. And that really brings me to kind of my final wrap-up point, that everything we talk about here, about improving language, about providing mentorship over like the first couple days of the job where you're really modeling job duties, where we talk about communicating change, where we talk about nonverbal and verbal communication, that's stuff that benefits everyone, not just individuals with disabilities. I find that individuals for whom English is not their primary language, their first language, benefit from the same types of very explicit directions, very explicit instructions, very clear outlines. I benefit from it, and I think a lot of people, no matter who they are, benefit from it, because everyone's different. Everybody has different understandings and beliefs and opinions and emotions. And so being very explicit and clear about what you expect is very important for helping anyone understand and do their best job possible. So you don't have to think about this as just helping individuals with disabilities, although that's very important because the unemployment for these individuals is extremely high. And it's very unfortunate because they do have the ability to do very excellent work. But everything we talk about today, I think, benefits everyone in an organization. And if you think about it that way, I don't think there is any way to oppose making very positive workplace cultural changes to support individuals with disabilities.